Hey, girlfriend, I am here with Donita Wheeler, and we are going to be talking about your vibration, that energy that radiates from us and touches the other people across the room or those that are next to us. And Donita, I'm so glad that you are here because this is a topic that we don't, not an everyday conversation.
It's
And
not.
I think we're going to leave the ladies with a little hope.
Lovely, lovely. Hope is a great vibration to leave them with. Yay.
Isn't it? Yeah, I hope that, um when things aren't going exactly right, maybe you're not in the best mood. Maybe something has happened and or there's some grief or some loss or some really just difficult times. How can you raise that vibration? How can you raise your energy from sad to maybe not, ecstatic, but maybe just raise it so you feel better,
Yeah, yeah.
more at peace, more something different than what it was, and
Right.
to radiate that energy outward.
I I feel like when those sort of things, when you wake up and you're just like bleh, we do the normal things. We go get a cup of coffee or whatever you drink in the morning. You try to turn on whatever you watch or listen to what you listen or grab your phone. The best thing you can do is acknowledge your feeling. And then it's if you say out loud, I'm grumpy today because I went to bed late last night. And then you can kind of imagine in your hand a little jar or bubble, and you can say, I'm irritated this morning and put it over there. And then you've released that from your actual physical body. So it's no longer just sitting in your body, it's in this space. Then you gave it space to go in over here away from your body. And then that allows your body the ability to raise its vibration because it doesn't have anything setting on it. So it naturally will go to a higher place. Just your body wants to be in a higher place. It doesn't like to be in a low vibration. It brings on illness, it brings on all the things that come with illness, sadness, it brings your body hurts, it makes your mind hurt. Like, I don't know, I've cried so hard that I've broken all the capillaries in my cheeks right here. And, it takes weeks to be better. And for what? It didn't do me any good. So
Yeah.
I think if you can just release that first thought, a lot of people want to hold on to it thinking that it's going to justify something or it's going to bring everything else back down with it. And it's like, no,
Yes.
that's not going to happen. You need to release it. And if you do release it and it truly needs to be low and something needs to be solved or something needs to happen, then it will come back and you will be able to do it then. But there's no
Yeah.
reason when you're picking fruit, you don't hold on to the bad fruit. You just let it go. So,
Yeah.
you want to pick high, you want to pick good, juicy, nice fruit for your day and your
That's a
moment.
yeah, and that's a good little visual too. So let's talk a little bit about you first. So you this is kind of your passion, your gift, if you will. Tell the ladies just a little bit about you and how
Okay.
you kind of got to what it is you do and how you got here. So, and then we're going to walk
Yeah.
through the little reflection that is featured in the magazine, in our Navigating Change magazine, Being Brave tour. And the ladies will have the downloads, the direct link um, in the show notes. And then it's now also available on Amazon if you would like a paper copy so you can write and just have a little me time for you. These are meant to be like 10-minute reflections, or maybe just choose a page and then do another page another day. And that's what I just love about this. So just kind of introduce yourself just quickly so the ladies know kind of kind of little who you are and how you got here.
I'm Donita Wheeler and I do energy work. And I got to energy work through my life falling apart, which I feel like is a pretty common theme. I know
Yes.
I'm not alone in that arena.
Yeah.
But I always had this ability to kind of know what people were going to say or what, not necessarily always what was going to happen, but just kind of I could read a room. Like I could go in the room as a very young child and be like, "Ooh, she's angry, she's happy, she's sad, he's whatever." And I didn't know what to do with that. So like as a young child, I just thought, okay, well, I don't need to know everybody's business. So I just kind of shut it down. And then when I was going through my own life, a lot of things all at once,
Mhm.
I feel like I understand the whole midlife crisis, thing now. It feels like energetically also you have a lot of stacked energy in your body that's been gathering and gathering, gathering, makes you heavy, changes things. But anyway, I went through
Mhm.
all of that and I thought, oh, I can still read a room. I can still understand what's happening. And I live in a place, we moved to Seattle where we are now. And it's such a lovely place to live and experience. People allow people to be who they are, and you don't have to pretend to be anything else. And I had never lived anywhere that really allowed that freedom
Oh,
in people.
interesting.
Yeah, and so it was just like a perfect combination for me, a perfect combination of horrible things happening in my life, of people accepting me exactly where I was and who I was and where I was at the time, and my ability to want to change it. So I
Mhm.
feel like that's how I got where I am today. And it's really been such a lovely journey. I just want to say, if you want to get the magazine, it has a beautiful cover that's so soft and lovely. And it's very reasonable. And Karen has brought me so far in this journey. I really I wouldn't have turned out the same had our paths not crossed and I've been able to be a part of this movement that you have. And it's just been a lovely experience.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that my pain wasn't painful and that my life wasn't a lot at one point in time, but I know that I've lived here for 8 years, I think, or 7 years. I've lived in other parts of the country for, 20, 15, 20 years, and I've never felt the support that I have felt from the women in this particular area ever. So
Oh,
it's
wow.
just such a blessing. It's such a
Yeah,
blessing to
I
be
love
in
it.
this life.
Yes, and I mean, so you are an energy educator and healer,
Yes,
and you
yes.
really work around the energy that it exists within us and those vibrations. And I don't know if that's an accurate
Yes, sorry, I
description,
did
but
leave that part
that's
out.
yeah,
Yes,
no
yes, that's
worries.
very
Yes,
accurate.
yeah. So I just
I
wanted
have
the
a
ladies to know what kind of who we're talking with.
Well, my byline is I'm an experience, not an explanation. So that's kind of
Oh,
where I go because it's really hard to explain what I do with a straight face. So, especially people are like, what do you do? And I just help. Like I can see what situation is going on, what's going on behind the scenes, what energy needs to happen to make it, go forward and have some momentum. And that's where I shine.
yeah, absolutely. You do shine there. So let's turn this around now to the ladies who are listening. This is going to be a little bit about them. We're going to go through just kind of quickly, kind of some explanations because we have some really good things here. And so we begin with understanding the vibrations, the frequencies through emotion. And you give a little examples of like happiness, sadness, fear, anger, disgust, and surprise. So tell us a little bit of what that piece is about, just real quickly.
Well, the vibration is what your cells give off, the energy they give off. So when you're
Mhm.
happy and you're excited, you know that your body is physically buzzing, and you can almost kind of feel it
Ooh.
if you
Mhm.
turn into yourself. You're very excitable, and you're like, I'm very excitable. When you're fearful, your heart beats, your stomach drops. The vibration in your body goes down. It almost feels like somebody put a heavy blanket on you, and that's what fear feels like. That's what sadness feels like. That's what a low vibration feels like. And nobody wants to spend time in a very heavy area. It
Mm.
doesn't really ever get lighter until you get lighter. If you can bring happiness, I think a friend told me a long time ago, fake it till you make it. And I just thought that was the silliest thing. I was like, no, like, why would I do that? But turns out that's quite a wonderful phrase. So if you are
Mm.
sad or you're fearful or you're angry or you're in disgust, own that for a minute and then put it on in the jar on the shelf and see if you can't raise your vibration, because most things that come out of make it all right
Mhm.
happen in a happy, lighter, higher vibration. So if you can recognize that a feeling has a vibration, it's almost easier to say I don't want to be in a low vibration versus I don't want to be sad. or I don't want to be disgusted, because
Oh,
you want to justify that. You want to
that
justify the lower ones.
yeah, and that's a
And
good, you said, I think two really important things there. I'm just going to draw this out because it really caught my attention is that starting to notice that feeling. And as you were talking about it too, I could actually feel, oh, what sad feels like or what fear feels like. That's actually might be a really great way for us to teach our children how
yeah,
to identify, because we can't always name it,
no, no, you
you
can't
know?
always name it. No, and but you can feel it.
Yeah, you can feel
So,
it.
and that's we were talking on before we got on, and I was saying, like, I have something going on in my life that's making me feel sad, but I'm trying to raise above and realize that that sadness only has a place of making me sadder. And
Yeah.
I'm still not, quote unquote, achieving anything, or you have to be in that higher vibration to shake it off, like literally.
Mhm.
So I'm not saying don't own it. If you're really disgusted about something, set a timer on your phone and allow yourself to be really disgusted for 2 minutes,
Yeah.
and then be like, get it all out, and then be like, all right, it's time to
hmm
erase the disgust.
So, and that is your next point is you have a quick list of activities to shift your energy. And
Yeah.
I remember too, when I was walking through divorce and all five life transitions all at once in a 2-year period, I did that. Like, I set my alarm every day. And I
Yeah.
gave myself an hour to vent and to
Yeah,
just
that's
be
lovely.
mad or sad or upset or confused or whatever. And so my alarm would go off at 3 o'clock every day.
That's lovely. Yes. Yeah,
And
and I think you
yeah.
you know you were able to just really get that out and express it. And um like with like an infection, we want an infection to come out. We don't
Mm,
like want the infection to stay in us and fester and get bigger and bigger and bigger. So
right.
we take things that will get rid of it. It's the same with your energy. You need to get out and get rid of the energy that's not serving you. It's just that our ego takes over, and our ego says, well, I didn't get what I wanted, so I'm going to stay in this low vibe and show them and get it. Well, that's not how you attract it at all. You can't possibly attract it in that low vibration. So if you do things like go outside, go touch a tree, go touch a plant in your house, go look at a flower outside your office window. You can look in your mind and feel. Your mind doesn't know the difference between if you've actually touched it or if you've touched it in your mind. So if
Oh,
you can see, like, I can see a tree right outside my window right here. If I just imagine that I'm touching it, my body feels the same sensation as if I was touching it. I know that's a little creepy, but of course it's better to touch it. But if you can't, if you're in a situation where
yeah,
you can't, like, I don't know, you're just somewhere that can't, you can do it in your mind. So
yeah.
you
Or
can you
imagine your
can
feet sinking into the sand,
well, that's
you know?
meditation. So you can go into, like, oh, I'm not a good meditator, but you're a good pretender. You don't have to. I think the word meditate scares people.
It does,
So
it
it's a
bores
whole
me.
thing. Yeah, and you're like, oh, I'm not a good meditator. Believe, I
Yeah.
am not a good meditator at all. I have to walk. If I'm walking, I can think out anything.
hmm
But if I'm sitting still, I'm like, I feel like a caged animal. I can't do it. And you would think somebody who does energy for a living and somebody who, promotes meditation and things like that would be able to do it. But what does meditation mean to you? It means how you settle your mind. And only you know how to truly settle your mind. So, and then you
Yeah.
can do, and then just like mindful movement, there's sound healing crystals, there's all sorts of modalities that you can use to bring about your peace. But at the end of the day, your peace, it's not true peace, it's a piece of peace,
Mm.
because you don't reach your true peace until, like the end. But you get pieces of peace, like, you know, it's a whole alliteration on spelling and whatnot, but your pieces of peace are what make you whole. And you can't possibly have a whole body of peace at once, because that's pretty much right before you're going to go on to the higher realms. But you can have pieces, and it's just like anything else. You make a cake, the whole cake is, assuming you're not a baker, the whole cake is not probably perfect, but most of it is perfect. And people don't care. They just are happy that you made them a cake. And that is just like the same with our feelings. You can have just pieces of this here and there. And what
Mm.
focus on and what you highlight on is what comes out. So if you focus on the negative, people always say things happen in threes. I want to say, no, things happen in these. Like if you continue to feed anger and feed the things that are wrong, it's going to be bigger, 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 and take over your life. Nothing
Yeah.
is ever going to fix
Yeah.
itself.
It's like, what are you feeding the lion?
Right. But if you fake it until you make it and you say, okay, I'm faking this mood, pretty soon it becomes real. Pretty soon your body doesn't know the difference between if you touched the tree or you didn't touch the tree. Your body doesn't know the difference, what's real and what's not real. So if you continually tell your body something that's real and your mind something that's real and your energy something, if you keep faking it till you make it, it will eventually work. Like it's the strangest thing. I have a friend sent me a notebook over here that says "fake it till you make it," and I just
Oh,
thought I really hated that saying until I didn't, and then I was
yeah.
like, "Oh,
Yeah.
it works."
So yes, and so that, identifying not only where you're at, what mood, but what mood would you like to really be in?
Yes, yes,
Is it
yes.
peace, or is it excitement, or vitality, or whatever it is. So this is what I love about this reflection too. You give us a couple worksheets to kind of walk through what we just talked about. And I had to laugh this morning because I was sitting in bed with my magazine and just taking, my lights are kind of low, and I was taking just a little bit of time for myself, which I have
Love
to
that.
say I don't usually do. This
You
magazine
do
has
not.
actually
Yeah,
forced me to pause and take
I
some
love
time
that.
for myself, which has really been a good thing because I get to go a little deeper and experience some new things. But you have a thing here, mood braiding. And so I woke
Yes,
up. Girls, I've been working on some new things, some companion pieces for the magazine. And I've just been like diving into it and creating and doing all these things. I'm really excited to share it, but I can't really share it yet because it's not really all put together. But I've got this excited anticipation. And so that's my mood rating. It's pretty high right now.
yeah.
It isn't
Anticipation's
always,
lovely.
we've got other things. I'm just coming out of having bronchitis. So I was in low vibration for like
Low
3 weeks.
vibrations. Yeah,
I was
yeah,
fighting for my air. And so, but what I noticed, Donita, was really hard for me to come up with those words. So I did what you said. I kind of sat there and felt it first.
yeah, yeah.
So
And
what's that
anticipation's so
feeling?
lovely because anticipation doesn't really involve expectations.
No,
Weirdly, you would think it would, just
no.
based on the words alone, but it doesn't have expectations. Expectations can get you in trouble. So
Mm.
I love that you actually use this. My mom actually uses this. So we all kind of have been trained to do this most of our life. Like if you go back through elementary school and if you're happy and clap your hands, like if
Hmm.
it's a collective view of keeping the vibration in a high place, without those exact words. But if you focus on your mood, it is very, I would say, extremely rare to walk away from this piece of paper in a low vibration.
Okay,
So
that's the hope right there. That is
yeah,
the hope, is that you can
yeah.
walk away in a higher vibration. Okay, we want to note that. That's is really great.
Yeah, well, it's kind of, it wasn't intentionally made that way, but at the end of the day, most things that are I receive, I'm a conduit, I'm a medium in that things come through me. And what comes through me a lot is not to convince people that they need to keep themselves at a happy level because that's pretty impossible.
Yeah,
Happy, I wish we could just erase the word happy. It has like
yeah, I
it's just meant
know.
for cartoons or something. But
Yeah,
it
I
is
agree.
because it's not a real, I mean, it is a real feeling, but it's not, it's just so vague. And it's just like, I grew up in Texas. In Texas, you'll say, I'll have a Coke. And that could be Dr. Pepper, Sprite, root beer, it doesn't matter. You just say, I have a Coke. And it's just, I feel like the same with happy. I'm happy.
Oh,
Okay. Well, what does that mean exactly? Does that mean you're happy because this happened? You're happy because, like, is your vibration high? Is your vibration low? Like, what does that mean? And then we try to fill the gap with these silly sayings like, oh, it's rainbows and Cheetos and all these things. Well, we can't possibly achieve this expectation of some kind of made up place that ends up at the end of the day lowering your vibrations because you have such expectations to hit a happy place and maintain a happy place that you if you can't like get there immediately you're I just can't be happy, you know. But if you take baby steps in, with your, you know, things like breaking your mood, taking and putting your feelings, acknowledging them and putting them on a shelf, and then just kind of, you know, going through the motions. And at first it feels very heavy and weird, but the more you do it, the more, like, this entire magazine has such a high vibration in and of itself.
Oh,
Just the actual physical magazine has high vibration. So when you sit down, all the things in it are high
thank
vibration. So
you.
when you sit down with it, you've just put into your system a whole high vibration. So most things that come out of this are going to land with people that way because it's designed to be that way. So you can
Mm,
take a physical object like a magazine and turn it into something that raises your mood on a regular basis. Not just Karen, who did all most of the work behind it, and, you know, the authors who contributed to it, but just the general person who picks it up. It comes with that. So,
yeah.
and you know, it's interesting because people will avoid things. People will avoid like the news. People will avoid stoplights. People will avoid things that they think make them stop and accept something they don't want to accept when it's all within your power to accept it if you
Mm,
want to or don't want to. So I feel like keeping track of your emotions is not to make yourself go to that happy place, but it's to understand that we are humans, that we have vibrations that vary, and that we have to be aware of them, just like we're aware of where the gas is or the battery is in the car, you
yeah.
know?
Yeah, absolutely. Some really great things there. And this really kind of puts a little bow on everything because the last little exercise is what did you learn from this? And for myself, I learned that I that to name the or to feel the emotion, and then it's easier to name it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you're not
And
so scared of it.
yes, and I like what you said too, is that you can change your vibration. You know, if you are sad or grieving or lonely or whatever, to think of what it is that you want,
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah, I mean,
know?
what you want and what you desire and what you go after is what happens. Like it may, just because you'd said, okay, I'm going to make a magazine and it's going to go to print and I'm going to help 1,000 women. You may help 4,000 women. You may never know exactly how many
Right.
women you help, but the intention was there. The follow through was there. The energy is there. It achieves what the universal achievement is meant to be. Now, it may not be exactly what you want it to be, but that doesn't matter. What matters is that it goes out and it does what it's supposed to do based on its vibration. And
Mm,
I think we underplay vibration so much, you know? Like it's in music, it's in all things,
mhm.
and the vibration is what really is your lifeline to like kind of getting exactly what you want. It's just that
Yeah.
you have to be tuned into that station. So, you know,
It'd be okay, ladies. So you want to tune into your station of vibration. This is the place
that's
to
right.
be and to walk through this. And you can raise, and I think one the hope again is that you can raise your vibration.
Oh,
So even if you
absolutely.
are walking through something, you know, I one of the things that I hear a lot of women of a more interesting age, some of them have lost spouses, some of them, you know, are just in a different place in life and sometimes feeling lonely. So
Sure.
isn't that just a little bit of hope that you don't have to always feel that way, that
You go.
you can, and I don't even know what the opposite of lonely is. Uh,
Yeah,
feel
no, because it's not alone, because you can be lonely with people as well.
right,
So it's,
right.
you know, I think that I personally feel like the lonely feeling is, oh, I kind of feel like it's a punishment, a self-punishment, that you feel like if you had done something different, or the energy kind of reads that if you had done something different, you would have a different outcome and you wouldn't be stuck in this position. Versus if you raise the vibration and you say, okay, what did I get out of that relationship? What were the highlights? What was the greater things? What
Mhm.
can I put in my joy box and go
Yeah.
back to, instead of focusing on, I don't have anyone to share that with, or I'm by myself, but that's a choice. Like, you can always merge into public where there are people, or you can everybody has somebody they can call, you know?
Yeah. So what would you say to that woman? Because I have heard this a lot lately. And what would you, so what, going through your example, okay, so she's identified maybe that she's feeling that maybe it's
She's lonely.
empty or whatever that is, or not loved, or what might be an example of a step she could do? Because you said to, we identify, what that is, and how could she change that to a higher vibration?
Self-love. You have to love yourself before you
Oh,
can, if you feel lonely, you don't love yourself. If you're in love with yourself, and literally in love with yourself, not in an egotistical way, but
right,
like in
right.
a self-love kind of way, and you take care of
Mhm.
yourself, you're fulfilled within. So you don't have anything you're missing. You only miss something if you're not fulfilled within, and that high vibration is not actually vibrating in your body.
Yeah,
So, if you're feeling lonely, then there's difference between feeling lonely and being alone. Those are
right,
two
right.
different things.
Absolutely.
So, like, if you're feeling lonely in a group of people, then your insides aren't okay. And the only person that can fix your insides is you.
Yeah,
So you got to recognize that. And you have to love yourself enough to say, I need to love myself and put myself first. And I
yeah,
feel like that comes with a certain age as well. I feel like I feel like, at least for my own self, I realized in my 50s that I am worth a damn. And
yeah,
like, I do have things to offer,
yeah.
and I'm not
Mhm.
expendable, and you can't just say mean things to me and it be okay. Like, I love myself enough to stand
Yeah,
up for myself.
yeah.
And so I feel like if you're alone, I would tell the person, you have to love yourself. You have to fall in love with you. And
Mm,
then accept the things that you can, the serenity prayer, accept the things you can accept, and change the things you can change, and then just accept the things you can't. And
right.
quit
Yeah,
wallowing. Like, it sounds mean. It sounds really mean to say to somebody who says, I'm lonely, to stop wallowing. But, there's only one way out, and that is to love yourself more and raise your own
yeah,
vibration. And then you attract the things that you're meant to attract. They come to you. So you can't be lonely anymore.
yeah.
But
And
if you're,
I think you've mentioned something that's really important to note is to identify what you feel is missing. It
mhm,
and when because that lonely can mean so many different things. It could be maybe you're
yeah,
not feeling loved, or maybe you're missing the experience to share something with someone else. Or so it
mhm.
could be a multitude of different things. And just to identify that piece, then you can start seeking how to raise that, if you will. So maybe
Yes,
it's
yeah.
you need to be around other people where you get energy, or maybe
But
you
you have
need,
to love yourself first,
yeah.
because then you have to give out the energy that attracts it back to you.
Yes,
So
yeah,
if
and but
you would,
start gives you a road at least to start
yeah.
identifying what's in there, and how can you feel that peace within,
Well,
and that's
and two, you attract what you put out.
yeah,
So if you're putting out misery, you're going to attract misery.
yeah,
If you're
yeah,
putting out loneliness, you're going to attract loneliness. But if you're full of love for yourself, then you're going to attract love.
yeah. I
So
stood because there was a time where I was having a little pity party. Here's my little violin.
sure, yeah,
And
I've had mine.
was feeling lonely because, not having someone to do life with, and
Sure.
somebody intimate. And I sat here on the carpet and my little silver carpet that's here. And I thought, I mean, what was I good at as a wife, as a mother, all these different things. And I thought, I was really good at loving on people. I was really good
Mm-hmm.
at loving on my family. At least I felt I was. Maybe who knows what they thought. But I thought,
Doesn't matter.
what if I also started loving on me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How am I treating myself and all those different things? So anyway, we're going through all of this, but I want to just wrap this up and just put a bow on it. And I think really what it is that there is hope. There's hope to change
Yeah.
that vibration. It's that duality of life where you can be sad and, find some joy in something at the same time. And that was hard for me to see for a long time. That I
Yeah,
thought I
it's
just had
hard.
to be sad or, upset or whatever, and that I was living in that. But when I started to open that door, and I think, Donita, that's what this little reflection, 10-minute reflection, I
Yeah.
think did even for me today, as I identified what my mood was, because there's a mood rater, find out where you're at. Luckily today I'm at a great spot. Yesterday, when I couldn't breathe, I wasn't at that spot,
Right.
you know?
Yes, yes. And it doesn't mean that you have to be assigned that way for 12 hours either. You can
Yeah.
be, your moods can fluctuate based on like, you're not obligated to this 12-hour clock that we're all stuck on. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
if you don't want to sleep 8 hours, then don't, like it's, I think, women in particular, need permission to say, well, that's a suggestion, and I'm going to do what works in my world. And I'm going
Mhm.
to do what does keep my vibration high. I'm going to do, even if it's not mainstream, even if it's not within the norms, it's okay. Like,
Yeah.
we're all humans living our best life. All of us are here for the first time. All of us are here walking this through as parents, as grandparents, as daughters, as, sisters, as whatever. This is all of our first time doing it. So it's not like some people catch on faster and they dial in, and that's the kind of life they have. Some people it takes a whole lot longer. But at the end of the day, we have this beautiful life that we get to choose. And we truly get to choose that. That is so hard to accept and so hard to understand. But we get
Mhm.
to choose our vibration, and we get to choose it every second of every day. So it's not a beat up situation that if you didn't choose a good vibration, that you go back and beat yourself up. You just let that go, like it's gone, and you just keep moving one step. And all these sayings are so true. Put one foot in front of the other, like keep going, because your other choice is just to sit and rot, and that, no thank you.
Yeah. So let's leave on a word of hope. What would you like the ladies to, what do you want them to experience when they walk through this reflection?
I want them to love themselves a little bit more, to raise their vibrations to where they say, you know what, I have great hair. I have, start with the physical things that you can qualify and quantify, and then move into the spiritual things that the personal inside things that you can control, not anybody else. Because your hope comes in knowing what is hopeful for you. Like you were um anticipation, and that anticipation is a huge vibration. It's
Yeah.
such an underplayed emotion.
Yeah,
we should
yeah.
we should wait.
I'm glad I thought of it this morning. And I kept going, what is that? What am I feeling?
Yeah,
So
and when you were doing that, you were finding the love within yourself,
yeah,
and so it raised your vibration. And
it
it
did.
is it is you have to love yourself, and it is very, very hard. Our world is set up a very egotistically, and we are immediately put down if we're like, I'm going to put myself first. Oh, well, who do you think you
Mhm.
are?
Right.
Um, but you think you are full of love, and you're a high
Yeah.
vibration. That's what you are.
Yeah. I am full of love. And
That's right.
yeah, so I'm going to give all the girls a really big hug. I'm going to hug you like this, and then I'm going to switch my arms around and give you a little pat on the arm. That's what my mom used to do. She used to pat us.
How
And
sweet.
well, yeah, it was so sweet. She'd go, I love you. And so
Oh,
it's just so sweet. But girls, go out. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. And take a moment for you, 1 minute. Breathe in all this goodness, and give yourself a hug. You deserve it. And
absolutely.
love you. And we'll see you next time on the Being Brave Tour. Thanks, Donita, for joining us.
Thanks, Karen.